Our top story today, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend today's peace talks between Moscow and Kyiv, talks that were proposed by Putin himself and marking what could be the first direct negotiations in 3 years. The Kremlin had announced that instead of Putin, Russia would send a delegation of experienced negotiators, including presidential advisor Vladimir Medensky, Deputy Defense Minister Alexander Fomin, G.R.U. Chief Igor Kostyukov, and Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Galuzin. Putin had earlier called for talks in Istanbul without any preconditions, but never confirmed his own attendance. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who had said he would only join if Vladimir Putin was there, is now headed to Turkey. Trump, who had been considering attending, will also not be present, according to a US official speaking after Russia's delegation was announced. Trump has been pushing for a 30-day ceasefire between the warring sides. Meanwhile, a Russian missile strike on an industrial site near Sumy in northeastern Ukraine killed 3 people, according to the regional governor. The region, which borders Russia's Kursk region, has seen repeated attacks, including a Palm Sunday strike last month, which left 35 dead. Additionally, the delegation representing the US in Turkey includes Secretary of State Marco Rubio and envoys Steve Witkoff and Keith Kellogg. The last direct talks between Russia and Ukraine took place in Istanbul in March of 2022, a month after the war started. We're now joined by our guest today, Dr. Wael Awad, who is a foreign affairs expert. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Awad. These are the first peace talks between the two warring sides in over 3 years. Zelensky said he will not attend unless Vladimir Putin attends himself. What does Putin's no-show say about Russia's real intentions in these negotiations, Dr. Awad?
Thank you for having me. I believe that the conflict have reached a dead end because neither Russia is able to gain any more territories for the last 3 months, nor the Ukrainians are able to defeat them. So therefore, both sides are looking for a way out to end this conflict. And I think President Trump coming to power in the United States is playing the major role in bringing these two factions into to talk to each other. But even with the absence of Zelensky and Putin from this, and President Trump from visiting Turkey, I believe that talk will continue, and there has to be some sort of an agreement, at least for a ceasefire for a month. So Russia may be thinking that this can help it in regrouping. Similarly, the Ukrainian thing on that line. But I believe whatever will be whoever comes to the meeting today to Turkey, there will be some sort of an agreement, and let's see how Ankara can push this forward, and even with the pressure from the United States.
Hopes of a direct Putin and Zelensky meeting have been foiled today. But by going without Putin, does that strengthen or weaken Zelensky's hand?
Well, I believe that Putin, he's having the key to ending this war. Therefore, everybody was banking on his coming to Ankara to meet face-to-face with Zelensky. But let's also take in consideration that Zelensky was never been a good friend to Putin, and Putin never gave him that respect he was looking for. So therefore, there is no way that after all these years of this conflict between the two sides, that they can meet face-to-face unless the basic ground has been achieved for a ceasefire, or could be a complete kind of an agreement between the two sides. We may see a meeting between the two leaders, but at the moment I don't see any meeting between both of them, because Zelensky is supported by the West, but America is putting pressure on them. I believe there is some sort of a game plan in this, what's going on between the two countries, because vested interested nation, though the United States is one of the countries that wanted to end this war, as Trump says, there is a way that delaying of signing an agreement between the two sides will push the United States again back to support Zelensky, arming him And that's what will send the message to the Europeans, especially Germany and Poland, to step in forward to take the lead in conflict, in a confrontation with Russia.
Dr. Awad, there was high hopes for today. Obviously, it's resulted in a no Putin show and also continued attacks on the ground with Russia striking Ukraine's Sumy region. Is there any chance of a real diplomatic breakthrough today, do you think?
Well, I think they both, as I said, both sides are looking for a way out because they're totally exhausted. You know, Russia is at the other end is already suffering a lot. They have suffering in terms of the sanctions that they have been implemented on them. The army, they are losing also the ammunitions and the arsenals that they have been pushing hard into the forefront. So therefore, there is lots of pressure on the Russian army for sure. Similarly, Zelensky is also facing lots of problems internally and also externally of getting the support. I think there has to be an end of this conflict for two reasons. A, Russia, if it goes desperate, it may go for using some other non-traditional or conventional method to achieve its objective. So even the United States knows that the Russians are much stronger than the Ukrainian, but with the support of the West, maybe still Zelensky is hanging on. But having said that, I think there is a tremendous pressure in the international community to end this war. I think the United States as well having also a plan that wanted to appease Russia, especially with Trump in power, for two reasons. A, that they wanted to make sure that Russia is separated from China so that the United States can take on China in the near future in the Asia Pacific. So if that can happen, I think that is what the Americans are hoping for. But that will not go so smoothly without reaching all the conditions of Russia or President Putin on the table, especially with those provinces that the majority Russian.
Dr. Wael Awad, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. We now move over to South Asia, where India is stepping up diplomatic